Hey guys, Hardway back again with another rant. This one's going to be a little different. For one, I'm not recording this off the cuff into my phone while I drive down the road. I actually took the time to sit down and write this one out because this topic is really important to me. This video was recorded in December of 2019, shortly after the release of the Mythic Arena playlist in Halo 5. I believe this playlist should be a permanent offering in Halo 5, and its gameplay should be the blueprint for Halo gameplay in the future. Unfortunately, I'm painfully aware that most Halo fans probably don't even know this playlist exists right now, and for several good reasons. They snuck this thing in right alongside the release of Reach and the progression system into the Master Chief Collection, as well as MCC's launch on PC. This was a massive development for Halo that created tons of noise in the gaming sphere, and this temporary playlist debuted on a 4-year-old, irrelevant game simultaneously. I have my own tinfoil hat theories for why they chose that release window, but I'll save that for another time. Suffice it to say that I feel the need to explain what this playlist is. Before I go any further, let me send a shout out to Patman Gaming, who already has an excellent video explaining the Mythic playlist. I'll link that in the description for anyone wanting more detail after I'm done. But anyways, Mythic Arena is a 4v4 ranked playlist with mostly classic style gameplay on 6 original maps, supporting Team Slayer, CTF, Assault, King of the Hill, and Oddball. Each map supports 3 game types, for a total of 18 game types in the playlist. Most of the Spartan abilities have been removed, save for a nerfed thrust and stabilize. The thrust moves you about half as far as vanilla H5's thrust, and it has a longer cooldown too. The stabilize gives you less hang time as well. As someone that despises Spartan abilities, trust me when I tell you that these are about as inoffensive as it gets. They're really not obnoxious at all, and allow for some clutch plays in some instances. But there's no slide, no Spartan charge, no ground pound, and no fucking sprint. And best of all, no radar. You can actually move and flank without punishment. It's just pure, correct Halo. And speaking of correct Halo, let me gush about these settings for a minute. One of my biggest pet peeves across Halo's history is the needlessly terrible settings in default matchmaking game types. From 2004 all the way to present day, there's almost always something egregiously wrong for no fucking reason. I have a whole rant on the subject recorded a while back, but I've been reluctant to post it because I'm in a group with direct influence on 343 and matchmaking. Pretty much everything you see in Halo CE's 4v4 offerings, I had something to do with. I've had positive effects in the past, and I'd like to keep doing it, so I've held off on rocking the boat with potentially controversial YouTube videos. With all that said, I can't tell you how refreshing it is to see a non-tournament playlist with perfect settings across the board. Every game type has correct score limits, respawn times, static weapon spawn times, sensible return times, flag at home settings, oddball respawn locations, static kill rotations, arm times, everything. The game types are literally flawless, and that just makes my heart happy to finally see. When I say correct, I mean objective game types have 10-second respawns, so you can actually control the map and have structured gameplay instead of a chaotic clusterfuck. Weapon respawns aren't hidden behind some stupid, arbitrary system that prevents players from contesting their next spawn like in Halo 2 and 3. Flags don't take 30 seconds to return like in Halo 3. Play balls don't make the ball respawn in a random spot like in H2A. The hill isn't randomly moving and giving free time to some jamoke coming off spawn. They do the simple, little things correctly, and that's a big deal to me. Then you have the more advanced stuff. This playlist single-handedly debunks the great lie that is advanced mobility. You don't have to choose between moving and shooting. You can move and shoot in any direction at any time. You don't have to be facing forward to hit all your jumps or cross certain stretches of the map. This is real advanced mobility. In place of sprint, Mythic uses a faster base movement speed and strafe acceleration. You actually feel fast without sprint. Imagine that. But let's not pretend for a second that Halo 5's aiming isn't complete shit. A faster strafe would be frustrating as hell to play against with magnums, so Mythic uses the Halo 2 battle rifle. Its higher aim assist, which sucks in vanilla Halo 5, pairs perfectly with the faster strafe in Mythic, It just feels nice to shoot in, instead of aggravating like vanilla Halo 5. You jump higher to accommodate for the lack of clamber, and all the maps are tailor-made for these settings, so the skill jumps are alive and well. Player gravity is increased to accommodate the higher jump height, so you're not just stuck floating forever after a jump. The melee does less damage and takes 3 hits to kill, so close quarter fights actually have some depth instead of just being a 2-hit beatdown fest. Now it's 1 melee and a headshot, a shot and 2 melees, or 3 melees to kill. This, combined with the mini thrust, actually makes for some intense close quarter fights that have some time to develop. Everything is so carefully tuned to allow for a fast-paced, smooth-feeling classic gameplay style with a little modern flair thrown in. Mythic Arena features 6 original maps inspired by past Halo maps, forged specifically for these unique settings. There are 3 symmetrical and 3 asymmetrical maps. Every map supports Team Slayer and 2 additional objective modes. The first symmetrical is Abyss, a small corridor-based map with an underwater theme. This map supports TS, CTF, and Assault, with Assault being its best game type. The next symmetrical is Oracle, a 4-way sim that perfectly fuses Warlock and Desolation. This map supports TS, CTF, and Assault, with CTF and Assault both playing fantastic on it. The last symmetrical is Vengeance, a Covenant-themed map that fuses Midship and Zealot. This one supports TS, CTF, and King of the Hill. CTF plays best here. For the asymmetricals, Cryptic is up first. This room-based map takes heavy aesthetic inspiration from Citadel, but plays more like a less campable chill-out. It supports TS, King of the Hill, and Oddball, with both King and Ball playing amazing on it. The next asym is Frontier, the Lockout-inspired map. This or Cryptic are probably my 2 favorites in the playlist, due to how well the maps flow. It supports TS, King of the Hill, and Oddball. This, no joke, might be the best Oddball map I've ever played. The last map is Goliath, a prisoner-inspired map with a large central room and smaller rooms branching off of it. It supports TS, King of the Hill, and Oddball, and is, in my opinion, the best Slayer map in the rotation. So now you know what to expect when you fire up this playlist. Now I want to talk about why this playlist should be permanent. For classic Halo fans like myself, Halo 5 usually doesn't offer me a reason to boot up the game. I tried to like its core 4v4 gameplay. I mean, I really tried hard to like it. But the combination of the trash tier aiming, paired with the need to constantly choose between moving and shooting, the omnipresent escape options that make routine kills a chore, the crazy fast shield recharge and how sprint delays it, and the absurdly exhaustive actions per minute necessary to perform basic plays in this game, well, it always just left me unsatisfied and angry at what Halo has become. Normally, Halo 5 offers only that style of gameplay, or wacky goofball party games like Fiesta, Husky Raid, or Castle Wars. Its other rotational playlists are often uninspired or derivative, like Covenant or Forerunner Slayer, or Shoddy Snipes. Even the CE Anniversary playlist doesn't do it for me, and I'm a huge CE guy. It plays like regular Halo 5, but with a hilariously overpowered and cheesy starting weapon. Not only does that playlist lack any of the intricacies and depth that made CE great, but it actually does a disservice to CE by reinforcing the false notion that CE was a one-gun game. So for someone like me that just enjoys standard Halo with good settings, I was usually left waiting for the H3 throwback playlist to come back around. Before Mythic, it was by far my favorite playlist, but even that had serious flaws. Its movement speed was way too slow. All the weapons are designed around the faster movement in base Halo 5, so sniping was too easy, and the shotgun range is comically far. And then you have the spawns on game types like High Ground Ball or Snowbound TS. I mean, they're seriously in a league of their own for how bad they are. It did a lot of things right, but ultimately didn't scratch the itch. Mythic cures all of this. It provides classic core Halo gameplay better than anything else that has come before it. I strongly believe core Halo gameplay should always be represented, and in the best light possible. TS, CTF, Assault, King, and Ball are the bread and butter of Halo's multiplayer gameplay. Halo fans should have access to these game types with the best settings possible at all times. Anything less feels like a huge hole in the playlist offering, and for fans of classic gameplay, this is the first time that void has been properly filled. It needs to stay. If I had my way, this would be the new normal for Halo in future games. Everything is done right here. The core Halo gameplay is well represented, and it plays like nothing else on the market. This is Halo's standard multiplayer identity. Yes, Halo has lots of different subcommunities like SWAT, Griffball, Infection, and so on, but it's always had that standard, core experience to bind everything together. This playlist is the best representation of that experience that I can ever recall, and it needs to stick around, both now and in future Halo titles. That'll do it for me this time. Huge thank you to Sergeant Slaphead, Soulflame, and Hex Reapers, and all the other guys that worked so hard on this playlist for so long. Also, big thank you to Blaze and Randy from the Halo 5 Sustain team for greenlighting this project and breathing new life into Halo 5 for people like me. Lastly, thank you for listening this far. If stuff like this matters to you like it matters to me, please help me spread the word about this playlist. I'm normally not one to shill for my own channel, but a like and a comment would be huge exposure on this issue. I think Mythic's popularity will send an important message about what we want out of Halo's gameplay. That's why I'm so frustrated that its release was buried behind the release of Reach and Halo on PC. But we can still do our part. Tell your friends about this playlist, especially the ones that left the franchise a long time ago. Let them know that, for at least as long as Mythic lasts, real Halo is back. Thanks for watching. Hard way out.
Teammates score. Ball incoming.